Mr. Madarame and Mrs. Madarame, Mr. Rabin, Yuval Rabin, distinguished guests from Japan and from Israel, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very special occasion and a very extraordinary day in the life of a very extraordinary city. Jerusalem today is very beautiful, particularly today. We have a wonderful sun, we have blue skies, and Jerusalem is shining. And soon enough, we will hear the music of peace by the Bonsho, the special symbol, the Japanese bell that was brought to us as a very unique present by Mr. Madarame and his friends, the lovers of Israel, the lovers of Jerusalem, and the lovers of peace from Japan. As was said, Mr. Madarame is heavily involved in the life of this country for many years. But from the very beginning, he felt that there must be something more into these very unique relationships than just the economic development. We are very grateful and very interested in expanding the economic and business relationships with Japan. But he felt that there was something else that we needed to express the uniqueness of these relationships and the very special bond to be created between the two people. And this symbol is the Bonsho. The Bonsho, which is a symbol of special relationships, of solidarity, of friendship, of coexistence, and of peace. There couldn't have been a more appropriate time to bring this present to the city of Jerusalem than at this particular period when the people of Israel are making enormous efforts at great pains to indeed establish real and genuine peace for all of us here, for all of the people that live in this region, Jews, Muslims, and Christians alike. There couldn't have been a more appropriate person to inaugurate this event than the late Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Rabin, of blessed memory. We discussed this present. He was excited about this, and he was looking forward to have the opportunity to be part of it. Today, the bell, the Bonsho, the music of peace, which will be heard not just in Jerusalem, which will be heard forever, because everything that takes place here in Jerusalem is left forever from one side of the globe to the other. This music of peace will be an appropriate and important memorandum of a person who dedicated his life to this great goal. On behalf of the city of Jerusalem and the people of Jerusalem, I am honored to thank you, Mr. Madarame, and Mrs. Madarame, and all your friends, those who came with you, and the many others who participated in this effort and in this gift. We thank you for being our friends. We thank you for sharing with us our goals. And we thank you for being from now on forever part of this great city. Thank you very much.
It is a special photograph of the newly born Jerusalem Boncho with its surroundings.
エルサレムのオルメルト市長より梵鐘の写真をまだらしに一つつけられます。His Excellency Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, Mr. Shimon Peres, the Honorable Mayor of Jerusalem, Member of Knesset, Mr. Ehud Olmert, and Mr. Yuval Rabin, son of late Itzhak Rabin, Prime Minister of Israel, and distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. I feel especially privileged to have been given the opportunity to address you on this memorable occasion. My first visit to Israel was 17 years ago. Israel was a country of great revelation to me. I was greatly moved by the vitality of the Israel people and much impressed by the long and profound history of this country. I became aware of the difficulties facing Israel and wish in some way to help contribute toward alleviating the conflict going on and bring peace in the region. I had a dream, and I made a pledge of myself to make my dream come true, to offer a Boncho, Japanese bell, as a symbol of peace to Jerusalem, the city of peace, and have it ring out the resounding message of peace throughout the city. All of us are well aware of the atrocities, suffer, misery, and tragedy of wars. Your people took its share as well, and you are to remember the Holocaust tomorrow. Therefore, it is especially meaningful for all of us to share with you this ancient Japanese symbol of peace. It is my heartfelt wish to have this Boncho become the bridge of peace, harmony, and mutual understanding for the descendant of the 21st century of Japan, the land of the rising sun in East Asia, and of Jerusalem, the holy city of West Asia. Today, I am very happy to see my dream of many years come true. It has been realized through the dedicated efforts of many contributors. The Boncho carries with it not only the contribution but sincere prayer for peace through out the world. It is also my prayer that the bell with its deep, harmonious sound will soothe the heart and bring peace to all people on this world. In addition to the Bonsho, we wish to offer the donation to the city of Jerusalem for assisting the construction of Japanese garden and in order to preserve all Jewish, Christian, and Islamic cultural assets. We also wish to assist in maintenance and cultivation of Israeli important assets. In closing, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Mother Nature, history, and people who have directed me toward realization of my dream, and of those who have given me the opportunity to be here today on this peace mission. Thank you very much. Toda raba.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, to whom the bell tolled, asked Ernest Hemingway early in this century, a century that brought the misery of war to nearly every corner of the world. Bells everywhere in the world and throughout times heralded messages. Bells are used to warn of coming dangers and wars. These same bells are used to announce the end of wars and the arrival of peace. From Jerusalem, a city of bells, the call for peace has been raised year after year in each of our 48 years of independence. As a result of the efforts of my late father and his government over the last 4 years, the bells of peace have sounded here in Jerusalem, the capital of the Jewish nation, in Amman, and with our Palestinian neighbors. The drive for peace is not yet completed. We all pray the bells of peace will ring soon in Damascus and Beirut, but most of all in our northern parts of Israel. My father will never hear the sound of bells again, but those that have committed to his legacy of peace and security will do everything possible to accomplish it, and they will succeed. Last year, my father visited Japan. He returned enthusiastic from what he has seen, and the relationships with Tokyo have further improved since. On behalf of my mother and the rest of the family, I wish to thank Mr. Madalame and the Dynamic Lambda Corporation for granting this bell to Jerusalem, creating yet an additional beautiful location in my father's birthplace and his eternal resting place. May this beautiful bell be sound soon for peace. Thank you. I think it's the overall positioning and the beauty of the bell, in addition to its sound, is extremely remarkable, and the whole significance of its positioning in Jerusalem, in addition to having my father's signature on the bell, definitely has long-lasting impression and significance for Jerusalem and Israel and Japanese relationship.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the honor to call upon His Excellency, the Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, Mr. Shimon Peres.
The Mayor of Jerusalem, and Mrs. Olmert, Mrs. and Mr. Madarame, my friend Yuval Rabin, ladies and gentlemen, usually bells are made to call the people to pray. I think today we have in our hearts several prayers. To start with, to bless the memory of Yitzhak Rabin, that his name is inscribed on the bell and that he was born here, and that has brought peace and hope to our country and to the region. Then again, we have to pray for Jerusalem. For us, the Jewish people, Jerusalem is both a capital and a prayer. All our history, we have prayed for this most unusual city, and now we are committed to keep her as the capital of our heart, as the capital of our country, as a united city, as a promise to our people, and as an invitation to make peace all over the places in the Middle East. And then I have a third prayer, and that is for the relations between Japan and Israel. Not that the Japanese and the Israelis or the Jewish people are alike, but we're alike in one way, by being different from all the rest of the people. There is much admiration and reservation about our people, but little understanding. Japan is geographically an island, and so is historically an island. It never mixed, it never gave up its own taste, its own preferences, its own devotion, its own code of existence. So are the Jewish people. We're also an island in history, different in our own way, admired and hated in many other ways, little understood, but always true to our history. The Japanese and the Jewish people, more than they have geography, they have intelligence. So we have to live on our travail and on our brains. And thanks heaven, at the end of the 20th century, it began to pay off. We are going to continue to live on our education, on our trust, on our innovations, in our preference of the human spirit. And finally, all of us will pray for peace in the Middle East, to all peoples, to all nations. I am sure that the ring of the Japanese bell will have the authentic ring of a peace for all the people. Thank you very much.
Mr. Peres, you are kindly requested to come to the stage again, together with Mr. Rikihiro Madarame. Mr. Rikihiro Madarame will hand over his gift to Mr. Olmert. Sorry, I'm calling Mr. Olmert to come to the stage.
マダラメ会長よりシモン・ペレス首相にプレゼントが贈られます。
Mr. Rikihiro Madarame will now hand his gift to Mr. Peres. You are handing it over to Mr. Peres? Is that the procedure? Surprise at one of the boxes here. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now we have reached the moment of unveiling the Bonsho, storing the list of donors' names, and sounding the Bonsho. These three integral stages of the dedication ceremony
いよいよ盆鐘が
by the following dignitaries.
その平和の音を響かせる時が来ました。
Mr. Yuval Rabin, Mr. Rikihiro Madarame, Mr. Haruo Suzuki, Mr. Seichu Sato, Mr. Norio Fujiwara.
和を求めるメッセージをサインとともに刻んだ故ラビン首相。寄進された多くの方々の名を記した芳名版は梵鐘の下に収められました。平和の梵鐘は聖地エルサレムから世界へ向けて永遠に響き続けていくことでしょう。